Hey guys, do you like Amanda the Adventurer? Good, because that's what we're talking about today. I want to talk about Wooly, specifically, because I noticed something I haven't seen anyone talking about. First though, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments, and maybe leave a like while you're at it. Do you think Wooly is A, Rebecca's father Sam, B, a Hameln employee, C, a victim of Hameln, D, literally a sheep, or E, none of the above? If you said B, then we're in agreement. But if you said C, you're not really wrong either. Companies can, and often do, victimize their employees. Why would Hameln be any different? If you said anything else, stick around, because I think I can change your mind. Just in case anyone has been living under a rock, Amanda the Adventurer 2 was released on October 22nd, and with it we got heaps of new story bits. You'll likely remember Wooly from the first game, as well as how he was removed from the show by Amanda. Spoiler alert, he comes back in the second game, but not immediately. We played through multiple tapes before he pops back in, and when he does, boy is Amanda angry about it. She spends basically the entire Let's Practice Patience tape being passive-aggressive towards him. Well, she actually spends the rest of the game acting pretty coldly towards Wooly, even leaving him stuck in the hole they dig in Let's Hunt for Treasure. At the surface level, it's easy to see it as Amanda tormenting Wooly for no reason. But if you look closer, Wooly starts to seem a little off. From encouraging Amanda to bury things if you find her father's clothes buried in Let's Hunt for Treasure, to completely disregarding her feelings to try and force another episode out of her during When You're Feeling Bad, when she wants to be left alone. It's also weird that he just strolls back in like nothing happened after she offed him in the last game. Overall, he seems oddly pushy when it comes to keeping each episode moving the way it's supposed to, and trying to keep Amanda from giving anything away. It soon becomes clear that despite being irritated by and potentially feeling betrayed by Wooly, she doesn't really hate him, and she's certainly not afraid of him. She might not like him, but she is stuck with him. We know who Amanda is. We have since the first game. She's a real girl named Rebecca, who was coerced into dealing with demons and was then trapped in the show itself. When the show credits Rebecca Colton as being Amanda, it's literal. What we weren't shown before is who Wooly is, but I think that's part of what this game is trying to tell us. What we learn here is a bit of a two-parter, and the first and more widely agreed upon piece of it is Wooly's circumstances. The fact that Wooly is actually in a similar predicament to Rebecca. Several things give this away. The first and most obvious is that he's in the show. There really aren't that many characters in the show with agency, just Amanda, Wooly, and the opossum. Wooly shows a level of awareness on par with Amanda, and that's not all they have in common. They both show some level of discomfort linked to the butcher or meat man. Wooly also has this odd waking nightmare along the lines of the idea of a butcher in When You're Feeling Bad, if we say we like horror. We can infer that the butcher is some kind of stand-in for the doctor or surgeon responsible for the procedures that locked them into the show. Likely Chief Neurosurgical Officer Larry Smith. I don't believe the Chief Neurosurgeon is actually within the show. After all, if he were, then who would have led the procedure to insert him? It's also likely that the butcher would have shown more agency so far if this were the case. The butcher is more likely to be a mental construct resulting from Rebecca's trauma. As for exactly who Wooly was before being tied to the show, there are a number of theories. While I believe Wooly is a Hameln employee, specifically containment specialist Danny Quan, others believe he may have been Rebecca's father. Even game theory still subscribes to the idea, but I think I can disprove it. The first thing that jumps out to me is that Wooly consistently tries to get Amanda to bury things instead of processing them and healing from them, which doesn't mesh with the ideals of the caring father that Sam is characterized to be. Sam should want his daughter to reach out for help and to try to heal from what's happened to her. In Do You Feel Safe, Amanda asks us,
"Who is someone you trust?"
To which there are a number of valid answers. Saying we trust Kate moves the puzzle forward, but we get interesting reactions when we say we trust Sam or Wooly. If we enter Sam, she agrees and comments that Sam was very trusting, which was a mistake. If we type in Wooly, she responds with, "I felt that way a long time ago too." This implies she used to trust Wooly, but has since learned something to make her distrust him. Like, perhaps, that he was working for Hameln all along. One of the pieces of evidence Tom brought up in his theory that Wooly is Sam was this: a video released as part of the marketing for Amanda the Adventurer 2. In it, Wooly is being held against his will and forced to read out a message for us from Amanda. This mirrors what happens in the kidnapped tape with Sam. He's being held against his will as Hameln tries to force him to read a message to Rebecca. Tom presents this as evidence that they are the same person, but I feel it's the opposite. Presented with the same scenario, these two act in very different ways. Wooly goes through with it, reading out the message and then begging to be freed. But Sam doesn't. After being told he might be able to see his daughter, he starts to read the message, but stops. He stands up for himself, arguing with the employee and refusing to read the statement. Moreover, watch this section of the tape.
One of my associates will gladly provide you with a copy of your signed contract. You agreed to this.
I did not agree to lie to my daughter.
Operation South Corridor. Go ahead.
This is going to take some time. Mr. Colton isn't exactly cooperative today. But I got something. I'll bring over the tape for editing.
And you've recorded all proceedings?
Still running. Can you send someone down for the lockup protocol?
Copy that. What's your authorization number?
543 Alpha Tango Alpha 67.
Security escort will arrive in 90 seconds. You have clearance. Stop recording.
Sam's expression changes as he hears the authorization number, clearly showing that he's acknowledging this code and committing it to memory. He's coming up with a plan to escape. All of this, and we still haven't addressed the elephant, or sheep monster, in the room. In the true ending, Joanne is attacked by this thing, which, in the files, is labeled Woolly Monster. This is Wooly's counterpart to Amanda's weird demon spidery thing. The nature of these creatures is that they respond to and seem to obey their counterpart from the show, as shown when Amanda prevents hers from attacking us during the When You're Feeling Bad tape. This means that it's important to look at the actions of these creatures as connected to the emotions or desires of Wooly and Amanda. Joanne calls out pretty clearly in the true ending that Amanda's wants to protect the tapes, which coincides nicely with the events of the bad ending. The bad ending has Joanne smash a tape with a hammer, releasing some kind of energy from it, before being attacked by Amanda's monster. It also responds to a howl from the Woolly monster at the end of Let's Hunt for Treasure, if given the Woolly plush to destroy, which does save our life. So while it does react to Amanda's emotional state, it prioritizes going after the Woolly monster and, in connection, protecting the tapes. Why do I say this is connected to protecting the tapes? Because the Woolly monster seems to want them destroyed. One of the earliest things we learned about Wooly, back in the Itch.io exclusive days, was that he wants the tapes destroyed. Not only that, but we get a lot from Joanne's monologue in the true ending. She reveals her identity and the fact that she was approached by someone who told her she could free her brother Jordan by smashing the tapes, after saying she, quote, led those psychos right to her house, and that they burned it to destroy the tapes. She says that Hameln needs to be brought down, and that she won't be their pawn anymore. An interesting choice of words. One that implies that the psychos that burned Kate's house down and want the tapes destroyed are none other than Hameln themselves. It's immediately after resolving to work against Hameln that she hears the Woolly monster coming and gives us the tapes. This time, instead of the Amanda monster attacking her, it's the Woolly monster. If the bad ending has Amanda's attack her for destroying the tapes, we can assume that the woolly monster is attacking her for going against Hamel and deciding not to. More evidence that Wooly is working for them. Now I know some of you are probably on the edge of your seats waiting for me to bring up the stasis tape. A lot of people believe that the man we hear in this tape is Wooly, but I don't agree. I acknowledge that his cadence is similar to Wooly's, but to me, it just doesn't sound that much like him. The voice actor is different as well. Wooly is voiced by James Pratt, and this guy in the stasis tape is voiced by Mike C. Walls. This isn't the only thing that makes me so sure that Wooly isn't Sam or this voice from the stasis tape. And the key is actually in this tape. And I've already shown it to you. Let's play it again. There. Do you see it? There's someone else here, in the Hamel facility, in a bed just like Rebecca's. While we don't see their face, we do see their hand. Comparing it to Rebecca's, the skin tone is significantly lighter, which is enough to rule out both Sam and Joanne's brother. This person is also clearly already in the bed, in stasis, like Rebecca, unmoving and with the same equipment on their wrist, ruling out the voice we hear in this tape. That is Wooly's hand. And based on how much older Amanda looks in this video, they've been stuck in these tapes together for a while. I mean, horrible goings-on or not, after so much time trapped in a kid's show, I'd also be saying,
I can't handle this anymore!
Actually, that I can't take this anymore, coupled with the way he looked up, it's almost like he expected them to pull him out. The only way I could see that being the case is if he was an employee, and one that was lied to about how long he'd be in there at that. Another point for Danny Quan. Plus, there's the fact that the Hamel logo plays on the tapes with Wooly, and only the tapes with Wooly. Pulling all of this evidence together gives us a quite satisfying and tragic backstory. Danny Quan gets a job at Hamel. Unbeknownst to him, his employment contract gave Hamel permission to literally slot him into the show. When it came time to do so, he was definitely lied to and potentially threatened to get him to go through with it. Whatever form of coercion was used, he was definitely under the impression that it wouldn't be forever, and might still not know how long it's been. Who knows how desperate or afraid he must have been to go through with the procedure in the first place, and I have to wonder if he could come around to working with us if he had all of the information. With that said, I want to say thank you to my channel members, Ballsfrog and Embrisk. I'll see you guys in the next one, and have